Hello and welcome aboard Train Sim World 4. I'm going to be doing a training scenario. It still has issues. It still has a problem with being completed. And it's really comes down to one train, but it's on multiple routes. So I normally don't do training scenario videos. There has to be a good reason for me to do a training scenario. Because for the most part, the training scenarios are pretty well done and they pretty much get the job done in giving you the basics of make train go and make train stop. It's a bit, it's basic and they hold true to that. They could be worse, but they're not that bad. I mean, it could be a lot better also. But anyway, let's get started. I go to the training scenarios of any train always like this. Training center. Come on. Blue. Okay, that's a bit odd. Okay, if you don't, I'm doing a 766.2, and if you don't see it here, just type in 766. Okay, and there you go. It's an old route. Goes back to TSW2. It's an old route. So the one route that seems to be, as you can see, I did complete it, but it seems to be causing problems for many. And I thought the same workaround fix that was for TSW2 was working, but it wasn't, and or is not. So I spent let's just say I spent more time than I really should have on a training scenario. But let's get started so I could show what's the problem, what's happening, and the workaround that I found.
Welcome to driver training. Today you'll be taken through the operation of this DB-BR 766.2. During this brief introduction, we'll go through the critical driving controls and passenger operations. When you're ready, climb aboard to get started.
Yes, sir, will do. Roger, Wilco and out. And look at that. 13 meters from the train. My lucky number. That comes up quite often. Okay. And do the pause menu. Usually that would get rid of that by going through this real quickly, just looking at it, and that would disappear. And then basically some interactive elements are disabled. So let's get in here.
Set the battery switch.
Okay, put the battery on, set the...
Take a seat in the driver's position. This is where you'll be spending most of your time.
Got the signal light to headlights. And you can close the door if you want, or leave it open, up to you. Okay, the one thing I need to point out here is... I'm going to close this because it gets pretty loud. But I need to point a few things out before I sit down, because if you take notice, you come over here, the brake key is on, and I'm doing it deliberately. And I know this is a little bit more than, I just want to know how to make the train go. I do already have the abridged version. But take note of this gauge here, okay? Something you need to keep an eye on, whether it be in this video or when you're doing this scenario, this training scenario. The brake key, keep your eye on this door lever that is for opening and closing the passenger doors. Okay, it's not this train, next door. That's that train there. And the door side selector, in other words, selecting what side you can open, left side or right side or left side when you pull up to a station. And also, if you'll notice, the reverser is already in, and it's set to off. And also keep an eye on this throttle lever. You're going to notice changes, and things will happen like the ghost in a machine. Yeah, I think that's about it. But anyway, let's sit down. Okay, I tried to zoom out as quickly as I could, but if you notice, the reverser was pulled out, the brake key was turned off. Not sure what that other noise was, but it's number 3 chase cam, as I call it. Doors are still open. Okay. I'm going to stay zoomed out as much as I can, and kind of an odd kind of an odd point of view here, or FOV, field of view. So right mouse click will give you your precise pointer for those that may be new or did not know. The old way of getting around this was to follow the instructions up to a point. And there is a video on that, but that's for TSW2. It does not work here. It may still work in TSW2 because TSW2 has been left as is. But in TSW4, it's a completely different animal. I mean, it really is. It's like talking about cats and dogs. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. So anyway, moving along here. The solution was to follow the directions as they were given to you, be it, the disembodied voice and the messages up here in the top left of your HUD. And at one point, you're asked to put the train brakes into running. You would not do that because if you use the normal HUD, you'd have that big speedometer with your brake gauges, and it also showed which doors were open and closed, and that would show that the doors on the left here were open, and you would have to close the doors. You would grab this and close the doors. Doesn't work. So get back in. So right now the instructions are set the headlights to reduced. Okay. Insert the reverser handle. It was already in. Why do I have to reinsert it after you? What was the reason for taking it out? Okay, we insert the reverser handle. Let me turn on my camera so I could see the rail driver and the keyboard, so you can see, because I'm using both. Okay. Like a dunce, I ended the video recording, and I wasn't even started. Okay. So, put the reverser in.
The reverser determines the direction of travel.
Now, you're instructed with the little text message to put it. I haven't reset my rail driver, but it's put it into neutral. Okay. I'm going through what most people will follow the instructions as they are given. And I would too, because I've tried doing things out of order or out of sequence. And
now activate the pantograph so that it raises up and makes contact with the overhead catenary.
And things just didn't work out. I'd have to restart the scenario. So now we got to raise the pantograph. If you notice here, there's a red bar at the bottom. Okay. I don't know why it's showing red right now, because there is a pantograph up. Every electric locomotive, power car, loco, however you want to name it, refer to it, they have 2 pantographs, and each one can be front or rear. So why are you being instructed to raise a pantograph when it's already up? Let me get there. The reason why, and I'm not going to get into all the, it's just beyond the scope of this video, but I'll have a link to a video that gives you a pretty good explanation as to why and the reasoning behind the pantograph and why you have two and they both face in opposite directions. I look at it as the triangle, and there are neutral zones, neutral sections within a catenary, and if anything is, how do I put it? Let's just say, part of the catenary where there's a neutral section, and there's a lot involved there too. But if something's hanging down, it can get caught in here, and this is like a catch basin that can catch it and pull it, yank it, and do a crazy amount of damage. But it's also a lot more involved. But like I said, there's a video that I'll link down below that does a really good job of explaining the catenary, the pantograph, and let's just keep moving on here. So the reason why we want to raise it is because this is right now the train is going to be going out of the station, and this is the back of the train right now, no longer the front. So this would be the back pantograph, and you need to raise this, and this one will get lowered.
The train is ready to be energized. This is controlled by the main circuit breaker.
Okay, so let's get back into the cab. That's done with the main circuit breaker, MCB. Notice the little red bar is gone, and still got power energizing the train. So now this here does not have any setting. There's no key binding on the keyboard or the rail driver. I did look. This has to be done with the mouse. Train line power set to start. This used to be a normal thing for just about every electric train. It's not even an option anymore on the newer many of the newer trains that are equipped like this. So now we have to set the brake key to on. And notice that gauge just went up to almost 6. That should not happen. Okay. Set the train brakes to running. Once you do that, okay, if you notice there's little pop-up hints everywhere. Okay. And let's get back to the front. The doors are closed. They automatically close. So using this lever here, passenger doors close, will not help you progress through this training scenario. And that is the solution with Train Sim Wheel 2. You get to this point, before you touch the brakes, whether it be to the rail driver, didn't want to do that, but anyway, or the keyboard with the key bindings for the brakes, or the mouse, you would close the doors. But the doors are already closed for you. There's a train that does not have auto closing or opening doors, that you have to press a button. So, set to running. Now you'll sit here forever because listening to that hiss, this gauge will never go down to 0. And if you notice, you've lost all control, no interaction with anything. And you can, if you stand up, you can no longer sit down. No more prompt, letter E to sit. And You can't open a door, so you're stuck in a cab. Even if you left this door open, you'd still be stuck in a train. There's no way to get out of this train. So it's like you're, like a Venus flytrap. You're stuck in the train. It's like you can't even bang on the window like, help, help, help me, help, 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 help. Like, what? Help me, Spock. Help me, Spock. Anyway, those who are into sci-fi and Star Trek will know what I'm talking about. But yes, I know I'm being stupid and silly, but you're stuck in it. There's no way out of here. And you could sit here and wait and wait and wait. And nothing will ever change. So the only option is restart. So here we are, stuck on a train. So I'm going to restart, and I'll see you back here as quick as I can be. Okay, I'm back. And as you can see, like before, I'm going to zoom out as much as I can. And reverser is in, brake key is in, and again, keep your eye on the throttle lever here. The brake gauge is here, the door selection switch, and if you see this lever jump at a certain point, you know everything is working. Everything will work, and you'll be able to get through this scenario. Doesn't make sense, I understand, but so let me sit down. I just noticed this because of the way I was standing. These levers pop up a little bit. I don't know why, but they do. I don't know why they do all of this. So these levers popped up. The brake key went off. They pulled the reverser handle out, only to tell you to put the reverser back in. And once you do that, the doors will automatically close. Let's see if I can get... What is that noise? Is somebody sharpening a large knife? Anyway. So, before anything else is done, put the brake key into the on position, because the rail driver key binding that's labeled as brake key does not work. Go figure. Put the headlights into reduced. Okay. Insert the reverser handle. It was already in. You took it out on me. Okay.
The reverser determines the direction of travel.
Okay. Got to put that back on. Okay. So set the reverser to neutral. Again, I've just neglected to reset everything, so I'm going to leave it as is. But what you need to do is, as soon as you get the acknowledgement that the reverser is in neutral, you'll see it appear, and you'll hear that those tones, bung, 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 something like that. So as soon as you hear those musical tones and you see the message up here that the reverser is in neutral, as quickly as you can, put it into forward. I'm just putting my mouse cursor here so you can see it. So, and this is why I also have the camera, my webcam, showing the rail driver and the keyboard as to what I'm doing. So, mount neutral. Okay. Wait for air system to charge. And you notice this gauge is going down to 0. And
Now activate the pantograph so that it raises up and makes contact with the overhead catenary.
this can drive you nuts. And I've never spent this much time trying to work out a training scenario. I mean, the last time I spent this much time on a putting together a video was Diesel Legends, because I covered from TSW 2, 3, and 4, and before that was when the MML EMT was first released in TSW 3. But anyway, moving along. So, now we raise a pantograph.
The train
Watch
is ready
the
to
red
be
bar.
energized. This is controlled by the main circuit breaker.
Okay. I don't know why that red bar was there and then disappeared, because it's not energized yet. And this line power, train line power, there is no keyboard shortcut. I already looked. There's no key binding for the rail driver. I already looked. I'll show you that in a second also, which is kind of really screwy if you haven't looked at the advanced settings for the 766.2. So, off, not off, on. Okay. Now we set the train brakes to running. And this time, rather than use the rail driver, I'm going to use the mouse. No, come on. And if you saw that, that went up. Okay, because I, for whatever reason.
This train is now ready to depart. Use the throttle to apply power and get moving.
That was my mistake. I should have never done that. But anyway, should have just used a rail driver right from the beginning. But there you go. The train is now ready to rock and roll. There you go. So, as far as the rail driver advanced settings, right, rather than scroll through here, just type in 766. Turn off the little cam. There you go. These are all for the 7. Here, take a look. 766.2. Here we are, Nahverkehr Dresden. And if you look through them all, just watch what. Here I am pointing at the screen again. Watch what changes when I select each one. Why? It's all the same train. Doesn't matter what route it's on. It's still the same train. Two of them have the DB designation on at the end. Other than that, what's different? If you do the training scenario for each one of these trains, for each one of these routes, I believe there is one for each one. Why do we need a set? Why we need a file for each of these trains? And here you go for this one here for Dresden Cements. Like I always have a hard time pronouncing that. Why take away the alerter button? But then you go back to Hauptstrecke Hamburg Lübeck and you get the alerter button back. Go back to Mainz Spessartbahn. You lose other things. Why? And I've already recalibrated. I'm not going to recalibrate again, but there you go. So that's pretty much it. And I'll give it a little bit of power to show that it does move.
During the course of your journey, ensure that you are monitoring your speed and the amount of power that is applied. If too much power is applied from this control card, then this could cause the traction motors of the rear locomotive to cut out and prevent further power from being applied. This is not the case when operating a train with a BR146.2. Coasting is keeping to speed limits is important. If you begin overspeeding, apply a small amount of brake by moving the train brake.
There you go. So, I'm not going to do the entire scenario, but the train is drivable, and I know I went through a lot here to show and explain as best as I can, but I just felt that it was best to do it this way, and like I said, I have the abridged version already recorded, but this goes into a little bit more detail as far as, especially for those who are new to Train Sim World, why the pantograph has to be raised when it's already up and energizing the train. Because, and I don't know why they're doing it this way, because it'd be better to lower the pantograph first, select your pantograph, which one you want to raise or use, and then raise it. Not just click on raise pantograph and automatically one goes down, the other one goes up. Now, if that's the way the train is designed in the real world, the one thing I got to give Dovetail credit and props to is that a lot of these trains are pretty much spot on. It's amazing how detailed they've made a lot of these trains and what they look like and all the control interfaces and everything like that. Even if you can't access some of them, everything is pretty much, it's modeled the way it is in the real world. And again, whether this train is like that in the real world, I don't know. But most of these German trains that I've noticed, there's an option to select your pantograph. But that's the way it works. And like I said, I've found another way of doing it, but it's not even worth showing because more often than not, it doesn't work. This works, and I've repeated it multiple times. I hope this gets fixed because this is, quite frankly, annoying. Having to find workarounds or find, how many hoops do you have to jump through to get something done? I hope this was helpful, useful, informative, eye-opening, and I hope this will help, quite many people, especially who are new to this Train Sim world, because I've noticed a lot of new people coming on board, and they run into something like this. I hope that they'll find this and they'll use it. But more importantly, if the developers see this, I hope they find it and do watch it and look at what I have shown and figure out a way to fix it. I mean, there's a lot that needs to be fixed, but that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for the community. I do it to give back to the community. I don't want to get into modding Train Sim World. I give the modding community big props, and I wish I had the money to give all of them something for their hard work and the time that they put into this, because they're doing this out of just for the sake of the desire and for the enjoyment and, dare I say, for the love of the game. I mean, they're not getting paid for this. They're doing this on their spare time. Some of them have, other full-time jobs that they're doing, and they take the time to learn, how to mod Train Sim World, and it's not easy. It really is not. So this is my way of giving back. My game is heavily modded, and it's made my gaming experience better and more enjoyable. But if I can give back this way, then help out some people here and there with what I've learned. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it. If you have any comments, what could I have done differently or better? How can I improve? Leave your thoughts, good, bad, and different. Ring that bell, and you'll know when I have another video ready to be watched. And hopefully it's not this is how you get around the broken ones. Leave me your thoughts, concerns, comments, questions. Anyway, smash the thumbs up, like button, subscribe and share. And there's not much else for me to do and say other than hope you'll come back. Hope to have you back again. And have a wonderful day, morning, evening, wherever you are in this great world. And enjoy. Happy railroading. Take care, and bye-bye for now.